region. League of Legends has done that. League of Legends doesn't only have the Europe League or the Asian League. No, they have regional leagues.
When you lose your money, you lose nothing. When you lose your health, you lose something. When you lose your character, you lose everything. Remember that.
Every game who wants to be every esport who wants to get a successful competitiveness, I think it has to look a bit about what League of Legends has done. I think on some aspects SMITE is way better than LoL, but I have to say that Riot have done a very good job on terms of competitiveness.
But we have to realize that League of Legends was like one of the first popular MOBA games, and they're controlled. They have Tencent. Tencent is also one of the biggest companies in the world, so it's hard to compare SMITE to League of Legends, even though yes, I would say that SMITE is actually more innovative when it comes to action combat, when it comes to social systems, you know. So SMITE is actually a better game. It's just, I think, a bit mismanaged, like they ignoring Euro players, arena players, international players, console players. League of Legends also usually only had like Dota Conquest, and they have few other maps. They also removed some of them, but lately they actually added a new game mode in League of Legends, and it attracted a lot of players. And this is what SMITE could easily do with the old assets, you know. They could just add them into the match of the day rotation that could rotate on weekends, so we can play old domination, old adventures, SMITE card, these fun game modes in the match of the day rotation, which wouldn't really like how to say divide the community, because it's just in the match of the day rotation. That would be a good idea. I mean, why not? If you already made those assets, why not use them, you know?
MOBA is not same as Conquest, Dota. Yeah, Dota originally started as, well, a mod, I'm pretty sure. It was a mod for a different game. How is SMITE 2 ignoring the player base? It's really not. He's really hell-bent on Arena. He is a hardcore Arena fan.
Voy a la playa, había subido la marea.
People really need to understand SMITE is a business, and they're gonna try to do whatever can like make the most amount of money. So at the end of the day, you're calling all those people like pretty much fucking morons. That's what you're trying to do. Dude, I think SMITE, is there another MOBA out there that has like an arena mode that is all time playable, not like a seasonal or event type deal? I don't think so. And I'm not talking about Assault or ARAM style stuff. Like League has Assault version mode. Damn, that fear sucked.
By the way, I have something here prepared. Can I just read it out? Maybe I will use this for video, but I made a really good comment. Somebody made a video about SMITE 2. You know, he was also discussing what can we expect. So my comment was this: I'm really hyped for a new engine, but the new engine alone won't really solve deep-rooted community issues and lack of game functionalities, like ranked functionalities. So we have 6-year-old arena map with no ranked leaderboard and rewards. We have lack of rewards in Conquest, no pre-made team Conquestco. which could also be very good for the community, but the lack of player base might be a bit concerning. We have no old fun game modes back in the match of the day rotation, no clans, and I think this is also one of the issues. If you look 5 years ago, 7 years ago to SMITE, it feels like SMITE was way more complete 8 years ago than it is today, because since Titan Forge took over, they removed Clash, they removed Siege, they removed the Ranked Arena, right? And all they really had to do was build on top of it, you know? All they had to do was improve clans, add more adventures, you know? We had ranked functionality for Arena, Conquest, and I think Joust back in the days. So, you know, it's really weird, because if you compare the game today and 5-7 years ago, it almost feels like the game felt more complete. So maybe it's just maybe we are just like, how to say, going in the wrong direction, designing the game a bit, you know. There is this MOBA mentality that only Conquest and Dota is competitive, right? I also want to talk this about you. You see, a lot of people think that MOBA is basically same as Dota or Conquest, right? But if you go 20 years ago, MOBA itself, a genre, was actually like thousands upon thousands made community-made maps, you know, and Dota, aka Conquest, aka Defense of the Ancients, was actually just one of those maps. So, you know, even though, yeah, most MOBA studios did design their games around Conquest and Dota, but I feel like right now, I think that's also, I think, one of the reasons why Arena is such a big niche, because most MOBA studios, they only cater to Conquest and Dota players. And we also have been ignoring EU players. If you also check high-res games, I think this is one of the problem with high-res games. Okay, let's compare just high-res games. We have Arena versus Conquest in SMITE. We have Strikeout versus Domination in Rogue Company. And we have Deathmatch versus Siege in Paladins. You see, they always have this divided ranked community. They always give only like 50% of their player base ranked leaderboard and rewards. I think this is one of the big issues of SMITE games or high-res games. They make good games, but they also have very divided community. Okay, sorry, I took so long, but I had to say a few things.
I was hearing you. No worries, I was hearing all your points.
Yeah.
I think every mode of a MOBA should be competitive, or unless so hard competitive.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, Arena is not less competitive because the game mode itself, but it's more like because we don't have basic rank functionality, rewards, we have outdated map. In my opinion, both Conquest and Arena are very fun and very competitive, you know. But when you literally force players into Conquest if they wanna be considered competitive players, then you have this divided community and you're ignoring a lot of your player base. You know, there is a lot of people who love Arena, but they have no chance to even, you know, show how good they are because they have no leaderboard and rewards, you know. So yeah.
But I mean, I think it's more like high-res has a slow.
Just from game modes alone. Well, that's what's going to happen when you have different game modes. There are going to be people that like different modes better. So you're going to have a divided community, because some people hate Conquest and will never play it. Some people hate Arena and won't ever play it. Like, to me, that's... You can't not have that. Unless you just have one mode in your game. It's the same shit as, like, Call of Duty. Call of Duty, some people hate domination, some people hate headquarters, some people hate search and destroy. I hate search. I heard the PS4 version of this update was horrible. Like, people were crashing left and right. It really sucks that Talisman isn't an aura. That feels really bad. Also, I haven't been pressing my 4 button. I'm not focused. To me, I think that they should only have, especially with like player-based issues in the past, I think they should only have 2 to 3 modes out at a time. Like that whole mode of the day shit, that's dumb. Should have never been in. Or mode of the week, whatever it is. I've never played it on PC.
Hello, brother.
Hello, hello. How have you been?
Good morning, good morning. I just woke up like 1 hour ago. I'm just uploading my videos right now.
I have just woke up as well. Like I just had breakfast and then I don't know, just woke up.
What is the time at you? What is the clock?
It's not that early. It's 9 a.m. It's
Yeah,
like
but it's the
not
same as
much.
here. Yeah, nice.
It's not that much. It's like average. 9 a.m. It's quite decent.
You said you
Not-
wanna.
not-
You said you wanna talk about SMITE. If you wanna quickly care about my opinion, I think the new what is it? The new engine. I think the new it's very good.
Yeah.
It opens up a lot of possibilities, but also at the same time, I think new engine can't really fix the community issues and lack of rank functionalities, like lack of tournaments, lack of rank leaderboard rewards for arena fans, lack of things like that. So I'm hyped. I'm hyped. I'm hyped, but we'll see.
I kind of agree on that. I mean, the engine is going to like be more fancy for the visuals of the game, but as you say,
Yes.
it doesn't fix the community problems.
They say they're gonna do new changes and they're gonna do things right, but in my opinion, if they're only gonna focus on Conquest, I don't really think I'm gonna play SMITE 2, Maybe I will try it, maybe I will really like it, who knows, but I don't know. It's hard to test Hi-Res or Titanforge when they didn't really fix the community issues in the last 5 years, So
Yeah,
we'll see.
I get your point as well. I'm skeptical as well with that, with the community thing, with ranked. I think a good change they have done it's the skill system that they are going to implement on ranked. That's a very good thing, I think, because there have been many people who were lately trolls, like Vivits, for example, on high rank, when that people just troll ranked and they don't even take the game serious.
Yeah,
And they feed every game.
Then they lose. Then they lose Elo. Isn't that a bad thing for them?
They lose. They don't lose that much. They are like, if they lose, they just stream snipe people. It works like that. The people who are on 3K MMR, they all know. They all know each other, and they prefer to play with people they know than with randoms. That's why the one streams
You see,
and the others
this is the problem. Like when you turn things into a business, America is especially known for turning a lot of things into business. Sports and everything, and that's why some people don't watch sports anymore. At the end of the day, you just have to organize tournaments and have real rankings. Like we have 6-year-old arena map. Like. At least they could give us a new arena map. I think this is actually a really good opportunity. They could make like a new arena season with rank leaderboard rewards, maybe organize few tournaments, and you are pretty much set. But
I think they should give. I mean, on arena at the end there is like the other 50% of player base of SMITE, if you think so, because there is a lot of people who play arena. I mean, unless back then, I remember when I started, there was like maybe 50% of people playing arena,
yeah,
and the other 50% playing Conquest.
It seems
I don't know about.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I will. I don't know. I don't know about the competitive thing on arena. Not gonna lie. I at all agree on that, because let me put you my points and then you tell me.
Okay.
The thing that gets me, that makes me not support that much the competitive thing on arena is that there are some things like the snowball and everything that you can't see that much as you see on Conquest. I think for my opinion, I'm a very competitive player. I like a lot watching, especially the strat part of the game.
Yeah.
I don't like much watching games of like 40 kills, 50 kills. I know that some people do like that. I understand. Some people want more action. I'm more like chess. I prefer like seeing them doing the right movements on the right time, the right fights on the right moment. That's why I like that. So, and the snowball is a key thing as well
So
of the
you
of the
like
strategy.
you like tactics, right? You like you know.
I
Yeah.
like tactics,
I
and
mean,
I think
yeah. Yeah,
the
so do
problem
I.
snowball is a tactic at the end, as you can see, and you can do a lot of snowball on conquest, and you can see, oh, these guys are farming very well. These guys are having the control of the mid camps, or in they added the CL buffs and the cooldown buffs on conquest. They are very key buffs on competitive if you see it. And the problem on arena is that you don't have that. For example, you don't have also objectives to fight like a fire giant. I like a thing that I like it is when they added the fire giant on arena. It was another thing. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
like it when they added the FG on arena.
I mean,
They have to
in
do
my opinion,
some changes.
like I don't think it's bad that they balance the game around Conquest. You know, after all, you know, Conquest Dota is most popular map in MOBA genre, right? But I also feel like Arena and Conquest are two most popular game modes, right? Most people play it, so why not just give them, what they want, rank, leaderboard and rewards, and put all the other game modes, right? A siege, domination into match of the day rotation. They could rotate them easily each weekend, But in my opinion, I think if you wanna be a good Smite player, you need to be good in both, in Arena and Conquest, because they can be both very competitive, and yeah.
I have to say that I started playing on arena. I remember, and it's true that I mean the conquest things of like knowing what.
I don't hate Conquest. I just don't wanna be forced to play Conquest
No,
if I
no,
wanna
no,
be
no, no.
considered
I'm going.
competitive player.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry. I understand. I understand your point, and I agree with you on some things. For example, in arena you can improve some things, and you can improve the mechanics on arena when you start playing Smite or when you play Smite, because at the end on arena, most likely you are going to be fighting most of the time. Some arena games are more like we know that type of arena games that are more like waiting and engaging properly. But
Well,
some things that you can do on
depends.
arena, yeah, some things you can do on arena are like more like you have to enter properly sometimes, and that's thing you do use on conquest as well. You need to know how to engage. You need to know how the god
How to
works.
rotate and yeah,
How to,
Conquest can be very
yeah.
complex. I know. It's
An arena has some things that has conquest, and I think it's good. I recommend whoever plays Smite play arena, unless as well. I started playing arena. I played 1 year and a half arena,
Yeah,
and I like
it's
it.
easy. It's easier to get into, and I think after all, Dota is like 20-year-old game mode. Some people just simply don't like farming camps, and they don't like snowballing. Arena
And I
is
totally
like
understand. Hmm.
arena is
I
like
totally understand.
Arena is more like you go there, but I think in also my opinion, a lot of players really don't understand how to play arena. Maybe you heard it or you didn't, but a lot of players say you just get 2 kills and then you play defensively, right? But then you don't get any value from aggressive playstyle. You don't get any value from resetting fights. You have to clear last hit minions. I think arena is way more complex than most things, but I also think that Conquest, it's also very fun and tactical. I got diamond in Conquest. I played Conquest like a long time ago. Back in the days, I remember when Smite came out, we mostly played Conquest. Conquest was really good. We had Fog of War. Remember of Fog in Conquest, and a lot of I remember Freya in Conquest. She was so fun with old Fatalis, and yeah. I have good memories. I just feel like you can't just ignore I think the biggest problem with Smite is that they are ignoring a lot of their player base. They're ignoring international players. We have no pro scene for console players. They ignore EU players, which is the biggest region. They ignore arena players, which is probably the most popular game mode at the moment. But I think they should focus on both, because there is a lot of player base. You can't just ignore like 50% of your player base and expect good results. You know, some players just don't want to play Conquest, some do, you know, it's like, and yeah, they should probably make a better guide for Conquest and better tutorials, that's also true. I read about this on SMITE Reddit, you know, which is true, you know.
Yeah, I can agree on some points. Let me answer you point by point. First of all, I'm agree on kind of all what you say, especially the tutorial thing. I think new players need a better guide when they start, because when new players start, they are like, they don't know even how to start, they don't know where move they have to go and everything on Conquest. And now I'm going to answer you about the console league. I have to give some reason to Hireth on the decision of removing the console league, because it was not that worth in terms of money. Not much people used to watch console league. I was from console. I was a PS4 player, and not much people used to watch the console league. I remember that there were maybe like 2K visualizations per video.
Yeah.
And it's true that the teams of console league, some of them, not all of them, some of them didn't take the game serious. I remember there was a team of a roster with some German people and everything. There was a guy on mid lane that used to play Uller with Blink, and he was like just playing the games like a ranked.
That sounds very
and it
good.
was like
you can hit your X very easily, huh? If you blink.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It's like not much strategy. It's like most of the times that guy ended like very bad. I don't know.
You usually wanna support or I don't know, solo or jungler to pick blink, right? So they can engage.
I think the problem is that the competitive scene, unless of console, it wasn't that much attractive. I think neither it was the Europe. The Europe scene the last years of SMITE, at the end, the last years of competitive of Europe scene, it has been just belt slap or hex mambo, however you want to call it, winning the league again and again. It's like if you watch football and you watch Real Madrid winning on time La Liga, it's very boring, right? You need to watch some competitiveness. So that's what has happened with the STC of Europe, and with console league it was just that the level of competitiveness wasn't very high. It was like more not very attractive to someone who wants to improve. You know what I mean? Someone who wants to improve normally watches SPL, but they don't watch that much STC or console league back on its day. They normally watch SPL.
I remember.
Or unless.
I remember back in the days, you know, when we had America versus EU competition, you know, and there was a lot of rivalry, a lot of competitive spirit, and this is also what has been missing, right?
Absolutely.
In my opinion, I'm really hyped for the new season, for the new engine, because after all, SMITE is like a 10-year-old game, you know, so there can be a lot of things they can do now. But I also feel like they need to implement some rewards, some basic rank functionality for arena fans, maybe give them a new map, organize. Also, we can also talk, what do you think about, should they implement Conquest team coup, you know? I think that should be in the game, look, because a lot of people would love to, you know, coup with their party into rank Conquest, you know? And, but of course, again, Hades is afraid of dividing the community, even though community is already divided on every corner. But what do you think? Would that be a good idea to add pre-made coup for Conquest?
Okay, I'm going to be answering point by point. First of all, I'm agree totally on the rewards of arena and everything. I think everything that makes the player get more competitive and want to get better.
Conquest also has no rewards, right? You only got like one skin and it's
not
even good.
But even I agree with you. Even for arena, I agree. Everything that makes the player get more competitive and try to learn more the game and try to get better, I think it's good for SMITE. SMITE at the end, it's a game where you have to compete with others. If you don't have that motivation to compete, it gets more harder to play, in my opinion.
I mean, the fact is that Conquest and Arena are two most popular game modes, so you have the biggest player base, you know, so you have to have like basic rank leaderboard and rewards and some tournaments, right? Just imagine if you would play, if you like Conquest and you have no leaderboard and rewards, you know, why would you play it then, you know? You know, the sense of ranked and community.
Yeah, it's just many things have lost its value with the time. The borders as well aren't that much important anymore. But well, I'm basically I'm agree with you on the rewards. I think they should get them back absolutely for Arena as well if they can, and for Conquest, and
Yeah,
for
I mean, why
even
not?
for Duel and Joust. I'm totally agree that they should come back. I'm totally agree. Well, what else? You say you were talking about the Team Conquest queue, right?
Yeah.
The problem with that, if we have enough people,
sorry to interrupt you, but can you talk a bit slower so I can understand you a bit better?
Yeah. Sorry, no worries. I will slow down. The problem with Team Conquest, yeah, is that I don't know if there will be enough people. Like, if there is enough people, I think that's totally good, because first it's a way easier to find the screams. You know what I mean? At the end, it's a way easier to get the screams. Nowadays, it's pretty hard to get the screams.
It might be hard to find players, and it might divide the community a bit, but I don't know if these are really the problems we should be concerning.
If they put it on a queue apart or besides Ranked Conquest normal, I think it's good if they have enough players. But if they don't have it, poof. I think they first have to structure the competitive. They have to start from zero. I think on SMITE 2 they have to start from zero. Rebuild the competitiveness little by little. Make ranked first an attractive mode for people, like to make them want to go and play ranked and get better and get GM, and put them rewards for reaching it. And then they can add those modes. Like maybe what you say, I think maybe with time, if they do good the promotion of the game, they get a lot of players who want to compete, who want to get better. I'm absolutely agree that they should put that. But they need first the players. They need first to like have a solid player base, because nowadays SMITE player base, if you do not ice, it's more like people who install the game and then maybe after 6 months they stop playing. They are not like, you know what I mean? They aren't people that stay that much, or if they stay, they just play from time to time, and some casuals, you know what I mean? It's not bad playing casual, but the problem is that a competitive player normally it's going to assure you that it stays more time playing, and even the money, I will say, because if someone likes the game, if someone plays a lot the game and ends up liking more some characters, they will end up buying skins. That's my opinion. I think normally the competitive player ends up putting more money than the casual player, because the competitive player stays more playing the game. It stays more time playing the game.
Yeah, they care a lot about the game, right?
Exactly.
Wait, what is your name?
Well, Sergi. You can call me Sergi.
Sergi. So now we just got a new season, season 11 for SMITE. Did you play Conquest Ranked lately?
I played Conquest Rank, yeah, on NA, because
what rank you are right now?
I haven't played that much. I'm lately on the same elo. I started, so I'm like 1,500. It's like not. I'm lately where I started. I played like one game. It didn't count for me because it was safe mode. Sometimes it happens that, you know what I mean, when you play a game and safe mode is on, you don't get MMR.
So are we now we are all bronze or what? Or are you still in like diamond or what?
Sorry. Yeah, we are all bronze at the moment. It got hard reset, I think.
So that will be a good time to actually, you know, start playing Rank Conquest right now, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You see, let's also make a comparison. Do you know UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship? It's like the biggest organization for MMA, for sports, you know. But I think the problem they have even though it's like the biggest organization in the world, they have the same problem as SMITE do. You know, they don't organize tournaments and then they don't have real rankings. So then, you know, why would people watch it? Because, you know, people watch sports and esports because they want to see who's the best, you know. And if you do things right, if you organize tournaments, if you have a ranked leaderboard, rewards, then people watch naturally. You don't even need to promote if you do things right. And I think this is what SMITE should do with competitive scene, you know, just have basic rank functionality for arena conquest, rewards, organize few tournaments. They could have online tournaments, and then maybe for the final one they could have like one in the Atlanta where they already have everything set up. Yeah, there are a lot of things they can still do.
Yeah, I think like what you are saying is right. I think like they need companies to like buy a spot for the league, and then they like get in the rosters, get in the players they want. Because if the players do the rosters, then it's a problem. It's a problem because they are not going to sometimes select the best players.
Yeah, at the end of the day, all they had to do is like make rankings, and then you just organize tournaments, and then you just do you know, have tournaments with these guys who earn their spots, and that's it. Like,
yeah. And the problem is that people nowadays don't want to compete. The newest players, they don't want.
And when there is money involved, then also players gatekeep others, you know. This is how it is, you know. Like, I mean, everybody could make money out of it if these companies will just do things right, you know. If they would show real tournaments and rankings, you know, then I have no problem with people making money, you know. They deserve it and such, but you have to have proper scene.
I think the definition of competitive scene, the word that defines is collectivism. And there is just a collectivism of people that just basically play. And if you are on good terms with them, maybe you get to somewhere. But you have to get along well with people to get to a place.
I mean, you also you have to perform well too, you know. Let's not put that aside. But you also have to perform, you know.
Yeah. I mean, but it's more important, you know what I mean, the contacts.
But honestly, yeah, I understand what you mean. But honestly, just look at the state of the scene. People literally had to move their homes. They had to come to America to live in America. They had to go to these, you know, how to say, these tournaments or these where they were playing, you know, each week. Like, I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to go to America, and it's just that it's the whole design of the ranked scene is not correct, you know. You see.
Yeah, I mean,
but here maybe now it's SMITE 2 hype, you know. A lot of people will try SMITE 2 maybe again, but why not fix SMITE 1? This is my concern. Why not fix SMITE 1? Because it's so easy to fix SMITE 1. Just, you know, the community has been talking about this for years, you know. Maybe, you know what they should do? Maybe they should just let the community handle SMITE 1. Maybe they could make a community pools, you know, just like RuneScape do, you see? They make pools each week to what to bring to SMITE 1. They could do that easily, you know? For example, if they don't want to manage it anymore, you know?
I think the problem with putting the community is that there is no regulation at all. It's like just whatever the people think, and sometimes it's not the correct thing.
I mean,
the problem with
but that's also true for the companies, you know.
I think SMITE and Hired just should like be there to like regulate the moral things of SMITE. They should like do the updates and everything and update new content and everything, but on the competitive scene, they shouldn't be the ones that pay. They should be the ones that do the tournaments, but they shouldn't, you know, like make the teams or like give the teams names and everything. I think they have to open the market of competitive. That's the first thing that I will do to like have a better competitive.
Yeah, they
And
should, yeah,
also,
you're right. Yeah, you're right. They shouldn't regulate the market. They should just have ranked functionality so the community regulate itself somehow. It's actually the same thing with SMITE Reddit. SMITE Reddit would be actually in a better state if they had no moderators, because right now we have no memes, no community content allowed there that promote discussion, and it's actually very similar to SMITE. You know, all they had to do is make rankings for Arena Conquest, organize. They would just have to organize official tournaments again, and that's really all they have to do for Arena Conquest, EU, and that's all really you have to do. And then you get real rankings, and I don't know.
I think they just have to be there for the moral things, for some things that cannot be done. That I consider that cannot be done. Then they ban people, but they don't have to like regulate the players or whoever gets on the team. No, they just have to like, or they don't even have to do the team names. They have to like let
I
the
feel like-
franchises buy the spot, and then the franchise gets the team that they want.
This is one of
That's
the
it.
problems, you know. You see, Hi-Rez is currently paying those guys. They're paying pro players, and they shouldn't really do that, because then you make this very close community, you know, where people gatekeep. You have to put money into a big tournament that attracts players naturally. People will watch because everybody wanna see who's the best, and that's how you naturally get sponsorship and viewership, right? But right now I feel like they're almost wasting money on these pro players, you know. And a lot of these guys also get good money from social media because people think they're one of the best, even though
The
they're really not,
players,
you know.
the pro players have to get paid what they earn. Messi is not going to get paid the same as a football player that it's random. It should be the same as on Smite. And
Yeah, but they have
have
league. They have
the
league.
player.
In
Yeah.
football, don't they have these major leagues, right? They have Europe, they have America League, and then
Exactly,
whichever
exactly.
teams they have.
And then they have individual contracts. That's what I want to
And
get.
they have teams, they have clubs, right? In the EU, we have clubs, right? It's not like companies make those clubs. No, we have separate. We have so many
exactly.
fans. We have so many fans that we have our own clubs. And then when
That's-
they make tournament, these clubs come together and play for the final reward.
That-
You know?
That's what I want to get. That's why I
Yeah.
want that's why I want the franchises. You know what I mean? The franchises to
Difference.
get and buy the team spots, because the franchises will do individual contracts to every player. If a player is better, you need to pay them. You need to pay him more because he has earned it. He has
Yeah.
earned it. If someone plays better, if someone plays very good, besides the others, then you have to put them a contract. And if
I mean,
someone
yeah,
pay,
if they
and
deserve
if
it,
someone
they
play,
do.
yeah, that's why I don't. That's why I don't think SMITE I don't think Hyros regulating the system and paying by themselves the salary. It's a good thing. It isn't. It isn't a good thing. You need franchises. You need to open the market. You can't make a competitive that it's paying.
I mean, this could work. This could work if Hi-Rez had, how to say, their own teams, and then they also let other teams to come, right? They could pay those players. You know, it will be like their club, their team, their players, but they will also make tournament so everybody else can join, right? But when you limit the whole tournament only on your selected teams, then it doesn't really work. It's you're ignoring way too much community, you know. Yeah.
But I think that's a thing I will do to like get Smite on a better position, that is just opening the competitive scene to like other companies, to like other franchises. Because they need it. They need to open themselves. They have done collaborations for the skins, but they need to revive the competitive scene. They need to like reopen themselves.
Yeah,
Get
but
franchises
and all they have to do is wonder how do we attract all these teams and players, and all they have to do is put like a good final money reward for first 3 places, and this is how you will naturally attract so many teams all over the EU, the America, and then you also get this competitive spirit, and this is why people love watching sports and esports, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But they already have the prices. They have to put prices and everything, and a price of money and everything to like winning the things. But to have a good league, to have a good competitive, they need to open that, as I said, I think. And from that, then you start building. But To get to that, first you have to do a good ranked scene, make people
rank functionalities.
Because the player who wants to compete first, always, normally, 90% of the time, plays ranked first.
Yeah, and we play like online. We don't play in person. We just wanna this is what people want. We want online tournaments, right? You make separate tournaments for. You could make separate tournaments for EU and North America for Conquest and Arena tournaments, and then you just let few best teams play it out in Atlanta for the final reward or something. Or we could even play online for the final reward, right? Maybe they could somehow manage that EU and North America players play together without high ping issues. I don't know if that is possible when it comes to online, you know, but
they need to have like what they have on Atlanta. They need to play all on the same place.
That's good. Yeah, what they have in Atlanta is very good. So why not just use it? You know, first make online tournaments and then get best teams and then put these best teams into Atlanta, for example. And then you won't have to worry about visas so much and such. You know, also, you know. Because nobody wanna really see all these games. We just wanna see final games in Atlanta, I guess. You know, back in the days there were only like few good games. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think there is they should get back to how it was before. Having an SPL for Europe and an SPL for NA. You know what I mean?
And then they come together.
They come on the World Cups and then they face each other because
yeah,
I think
that's
good.
hype.
I think that's how it always worked. I think that format was good, and I never understood why they took away the SPL Europe. I don't know how it was the money.
Because they want to be like more of League of Legends, and that's also why they removed Ranked Arena, because they thought that if we somehow, you know, they wanted to attract more players into Conquest, but you know. Arena is also.
You are not going to attack more players if you kill the competitive scene on a region.
You can attract them if you make like a good tutorial, good tournaments, right? But you can't really force players into Conquest. You know, just why not? I think this is the big problem with Harris games, you know.
But they have done very polemic decisions around competitive, and that's the thing. You can play whatever you want on SMITE. If you want to play arena, play arena. If you want to play.
Honestly, I think they manage ranked scene quite well. With the lack of viewers they got, they manage it quite well. They have pretty decent casters. Maybe they lack one caster like DM Brandon that actually know the meta, you know. But they did pretty well, honestly. But they still have these deep-rooted issues, you know. A lot of the community is missing, you know. We have EU missing, arena players missing, international console players, which is a big chunk of your player base, 50 to 70% almost. So maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. As well, I don't have the contability count of how much the SPL make them to higher res. I don't know. I guess it wasn't much if they had to close it, but
yes.
The problem with Cyrus is that they haven't as well like expanded their player base with time. They have been more like
only Conquest and only America mostly players. Everybody
they haven't attacked new players. They haven't make people, or unless if they get new people, they don't make them stay. They don't make them stay and grind the game and try to get better, because at the end the player doesn't have motivation.
Yeah, you see, we talk about how many new players try arena, but then they realize we have no ranked leaderboard, no rewards, no tournaments. So you literally only have to play Conquest. I mean, they can already play Dota or Conquest in League of Legends. So there is so many MOBA games out there, right? Why are we just another MOBA, just another outdated MOBA game that only caters to Conquest Dota players?
You need to have something that makes you different as a product.
Yeah,
they have to exploit that.
And at the end of the day, Conquest Dota is like 20-year-old game mode. It also has its own issues. It's not like, I don't know why people think that Conquest is like a perfect game mode. It also has its own issues, you know, the snowballing, you know. A lot of people only rely on meta items to win their games. It's not really about counter building, you know. It also has its issues. I'm not saying it's a bad game mode or anything. It can be very fun and competitive, but it's not also perfect, you know. You know, just like arena also have some issues some people don't like, you know. It's like that's okay, I guess, but I just feel like I just feel like they're ignoring way too much of their player base. So even if they do all these things correct, they don't really get good results because they're ignoring so much of their player base, and I think that's probably the biggest problem they have. In every high risk game they have this problem, right? I played Row Company, I played Paladins, and in Row Company, I'm not sure if you know that game, but I really liked what was it? Two games, Strikeout and Domination. Yeah, I think only Domination has ranked, but I actually really liked Strikeout when I was playing that game. You see, and when your favorite game mode has no ranked functionality, it kind of sucks. Then it's hard to take it seriously. That's all I wanna say.
I have to a bit disagree with Hyros not listening at all the player base. I think over the years, they have heard a lot more the casual players, a lot more, because at the end the rework of Loki came for that. The players asked the casual players asked a reward for Loki because Loki was annoying.
Reddit, Twitter,
and and same with Persephone.
And Old
at
Nox,
the end,
Old Nox was also better. I hated Nox for so long. Like her kit is so
but I
to
mean,
play against.
but what I want to get is that these two rewards, Loki and Persephone, came because the community asked for them. Not all the community though.
Yeah.
The pro players, let's be honest, the pro players, most of them, they didn't care at all about the
It's
reward.
because of the Reddit and Twitter, but also a big issue is also censorship in SMITE community.
Eh,
A lot of the
es
players
le-
are banned on Reddit or on Twitter, and on Reddit mostly, so they can't really express their opinion there.
Loki got reworked because casual players found him annoying, but that's how the god used to work.
You know why?
And
why
now
they
people
rework Loki? Because nobody was counter building against him. Nobody knows how to counter build in this game. Most conquest games they only rely on snowballing to win their games, so they don't learn how to counter build properly. And then I think that's why they rework him.
Most casual players back then, and still do, they don't know how to play against. They didn't know how to play against Loki. Obviously, the highest players they used to know, but that's their problem as a player. That's the problem of the casual players. If you don't know how to play, if you don't know how to play against something, then you have to learn to play against that thing.
But honestly, his kit was very bursty. You remember his kit, right?
Yeah, but it had its downfalls as well. Loki,
true, that's
true. It had its downfalls as well. The old Loki, well, and this one still has that. The old Loki couldn't go in alone when the enemy team is grouped. He just dies easily.
Yeah,
if the enemy team, he dies very easily if he goes alone between 5 people. If the enemy team pays attention.
But you see, most carries, they have 6 item slots and they always go 6 damage items. If they would only go, for example, Valor or maybe some HP against Loki, they could survive his burst and then your team would finish him off. You see, but it's hard if you counter build on every carry, then you fall back in damage. It's like slippery slope, but it's possible to get focused. Why not counter build, especially if you play against 3 or 4 physical players,
More than counter building, I think it's more of of knowing what I'm playing against, what he has good and what he has bad, and exploiting that bad things that the god has. Also, that's what you have to do, I think, to play good.
Your support could buy Sovereignty, for example, and that will be really good against Loki in early to mid game, right?
I mean, the items are always there, but you have to know what are you playing to and how you have to play in terms of positioning and everything. You have to know it. You have to know.
Yeah, the game the game is very complex.
And that's why I don't think making it more simple it makes it better. No, you have to keep it complex so people want to learn it, so people get to know it and get better. If you make a game very simple, then it gets boring.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, players have to try their best to get better. That's how it is.
In my opinion, SMITE on the surface is a very simple game, but it's actually way more complex especially if you play something like support, when you have to learn all the compositions, all the counter building. Yeah, I actually wanna make SMITE item tier list. Maybe I made that today, but I'm a bit tired already. But SMITE item tier list. I need to find all the new items. I need to find tier list with the new items. That would be cool.
I mean, yeah. I mean, but also some people basically that the game has to. The game has to stay complex, and the game has to. They don't have to do. Hi-Rez doesn't have to do what they have been doing in the last years, which is making the game easier for the new players. No, there is no need. You can make them. You can put them guides, so they are more. So they know more what they have to do, but they have to learn as well by themselves. You have to create them that interest of like, oh, I want to learn this. I want to learn the auto attack cancels for Susano. And not making them doing it by default. No, that's not how it works. I remember going to jungle practice. I remember going to jungle practice with Susano just to learn auto attack cancels, and it was a fun thing. I enjoyed it because if you enjoy the game, you enjoy learning. But that's how it works, and you need.
Honestly, as an experienced player, I think Susano is very hard to counter build against because his pool is very unpredictable. You see, he has a lot of mobility, and if you counter build too fast against him in Conquest, you can fall behind. This is how the game mode is literally designed, and that's why also there is a lack of counter building, because the game mode is literally designed. If you counter build too early, you can fall behind. So in Conquest we usually counter build, I think, what, third, 4 item. We have seen that at SPL games, you know, when they built magical protection against I think even on mid laner, you know, and that was not a bad idea. It depends on what are you playing against, you know, if they have 3 physicals or 3 magicals, you know.
I think there has to be a balance between counter building and counter playing. If you like, you have to have both. Sometimes you have to pick an item versus some. For example, when the ADCs pick crit, you get anti-crit normally, so they don't push you that much.
Spectral armor. Yeah. Spectral armor is insane, actually.
Yeah, for example. But when you're playing against a Susano, you have to know that Susano, for example, versus Scylla, he isn't that good. For example, you have to know it that some gods versus some gods aren't that good, and that every god on SMITE has its weakness. That's its bad thing.
Can you tell me why Susano is bad against Scylla?
Well, simple, because if the Susano pulls her, normally the Scylla, if she hits her combo, the Susano just dies instantly. Second, the Scylla can keep the range very good versus the Susano if she stays behind. And normally the 1v1, normally Scylla is going to win it to the Susano if the Scylla does it good, normally.
If you look
the one of Scylla to Susano, it's very annoying for the Susano if you hit him.
If you just look at Scylla kit, right? Her kit has so much self build, just like Vulcan kit. She has good AoE control with her ability. She has root. She has very good escape, and she has CC immunity ulti.
But what is its downfalls of Scylla? What has bad Scylla? The first bad thing, her abilities are slow, and it's a thing. Her abilities are slow, and normally she needs something with CC, unless for long range abilities.
Yeah,
when you are middle range or short range, you will normally hit the abilities of Scylla with no problem.
She's very predictable, I would say.
Exactly, she's very predictable, and I think her abilities are a bit slow as well. But
and you need to level them up before you get those bonus effects, right?
But again, that's not a bad thing. Every god has to have its weakness, and SMITE, what they are trying to remove is it's removing their weakness. They have been buffing early of some gods that were of late. I don't understand why, for example, buffing that much still as early. I mean, if it's so terribly bad that it's unplayable, I understand. But for example, I don't get why some buffs or everything. Every god has to have its weakness.
I think Scylla is over nerfed, if anything. Not over nerfed, but over buffed. She got a lot of buffs and she didn't really need them. Like, she's very.
But like Scylla,
yeah.
But like Scylla, and a lot of gods, I think a lot of gods have. I remember. I like it. All the SMITE was more like that. Some gods were for early game, some gods were more for late game, and some gods had a bit more of balance.
Yeah,
The old Bastet. Do you remember the old Bastet?
with the cats.
The old Bastet
Arachne,
with
old
level
Arachne.
the old Bastet, for example, at level 5, he was very good. He had a very good early game with the ult and everything. But then it's true that on late she felt more in terms of damage and everything. But that's
Yeah,
not a bad thing.
Hunter
That's
countered her.
yeah, but that's not a bad thing. You have to make the comps, you have to make the gods, you have to like make.
And then you have to adopt your own build. If you play against Bastille, for example, which you know, for example, before she was early game god, then you have to go like more maybe flat pin. You don't really go into stacking items against Bastille or Thanatos because you might lose early game to mid game and you lose the whole game.
There is, I think for wielding you have to like take on note what is good for your god, and if you can, and if that balance of countering the enemy god and what it goes for you, it's positive or not. For example, if there is an enemy that has healing, I have to, for example, as a mid laner, I have to understand. Okay, it's really worth for me building Divine Ruin here, yes or not. And
You
that's
go
it.
Pestilence, maybe.
Not, yeah. No, I mean, normally the pestilence, the support or the solo builds it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, but you have to take on note those things to like build. You have to know what it goes good for the god you are playing, and what are you against. If there has to be a balance of it goes well for both.
This is,
in
I
my
think,
opinion.
This is when I think you adopt your build. For example, when I play mage, for example, Anubis in arena, I always wonder: do I go cooldown or do I go anti-heal? Right? If they have healers, I go anti-heal, but then I don't have cooldown yet. So then maybe I go Valor, you know, so I get cooldown. You see, adopting your build to the enemy composition is pretty huge thing, and I think it should be more emphasized, especially in tutorials. And that's also why snowballing shouldn't be too high, so people counter build more. But hey, maybe that's just me.
There has to be. I agree that there has to be a balance on like both things. Some people know that, for example, if you are against an Aphrodite, you have to take Divine Ruin as a mid lane. That's a
they
thing.
have a lot of healers.
And all that. And if you are against an ADC with crit, you have to get a Spectral. Some people still don't know that, and they have to know that.
Spectral
and yeah,
is
I think
so good. Spectral is so good against any crit carry, for real.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Counter winning, it's a thing of the game, and there has to be like all things, but there has to be as well, in my opinion, the aspect of counter, of knowing what you have to play, or what you have to play against, and knowing what your character does. That's why that's the first thing of drafting. If you think so, the first thing of drafting on competitive or conquest or anything, it's knowing what you have to play and knowing what are you playing against.
Yeah.
And all that. That's the first thing. And I think with doing those things, with making people do those things, you make the game better. Because the people get more to get to know the game.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You make them get more better, and you give them rewards, and give them rewards, as you say. If you are better than some people, get them rewards.
Yeah,
get them gems.
They deserve it.
Gems.
Yeah, but yeah.
Gems. Gems. It isn't that much. It's like if
that
whoever
would be
gets
very good. Yeah, for community tournaments.
Whoever gets, I don't care. Like maybe the top 10 of arena, the first top 10 of arena on the split. On MMR, I remember when there was like a leaderboard of MMR on season 4 and everything, and you could see the MMR of casual.
Yes.
Make those people get, maybe, I don't know, the first one 2,000 gems, for example. The second one 1,200 gems, and you make that people get more, get more, more interested.
They should also do that for Conquest, right? They should not only leaderboard, but also cool skins, frames, and gem rewards for Conquest.
To every mode, Matic. I think they should do it to every mode, even Assault. It makes it more fun to play. The competitiveness.
Or maybe they could make a quest that if you get one win in Assault, today you get like 50 gems, for example, right?
I think like that, make people want to compete, make people want to get better, make people give them that, and trust that you will have a very good game. And then, if you promote your game properly to new players, a lot of people will come.
You
A
just
lot of
need to
people will
have, you
come.
just need to have proper competitive scene, tournaments, rewards, right? And then
They have
people
to-
play naturally.
But they have to start from what you are saying and I am saying. First, make the community don't do a competitive directly. First, make the people want to compete. Have casuals that are attractive. Have a ranked team that is attractive, and then when the thing goes well, when the people want to compete, then you put the SPL or you put the whatever. You put the leagues. But first, do the basics well, and also do a good promotion of the game. They need to do a good promotion. If they do a good promotion of the game,
Yeah.
nice.
Do you like the new SMITE events?
The new what do you mean with events? The
Yeah,
the skins.
they are barely events. Yeah, and this is, I mean, they could easily make more quests or something, or Odyssey. Like these new events are just way to make the money. And but this is also the problem, you see, because they don't organize their game and community properly. They don't make good money, and that's why they also now are almost forced to make these pay-to-win events, chests, expensive skins. You know.
Yeah. I remember back on his days, for example, the corrupt arena. Do you remember that arena with holes?
Yeah.
When they put it for at the first, they make people who played roll chests so they get the skins. I remember there was the Stila prototype skin and the Ratatosker skin and a Bellona skin that were exclusive. And if people played a lot, they get to roll chest by free, just by playing the mode.
They could
And then they get the skins.
You know, they could easily put that into the match of the day rotation for like few days and make a quest that if you play 1 or 2 games, you get some gems or something. And what I think we really need is like a new season. For example, they could easily make arena season. They would give us a new arena map. The current one is 6 years old, you know, with some rank leaderboard, some rewards, some skins, you know, maybe some gems for maybe, you know, even work on clans, and the community will be much bigger, and this would actually attract more players to all game modes, you know. Even for they would actually make a new arena season, I think they would even attract more players to Conquest, you know.
They need to take care of all the game modes of the game, all the
players, yeah.
All the players.
Because there are so many players who load this game so much, but they have no chance to prove it, you know.
You have to make, I mean, even if your principle, even if most of your players go to Conquest and Casual, the Slash players need these things as well to be done, and all of them.
Don't get me wrong.
All of them.
You know, don't get me wrong. I don't want them to only focus on arena or balance the game around arena.
I
also want them to focus on. I also want them to add more rewards for Conquest, to make online tournaments for Conquest, or at least community tournaments, or they should give gems to those communities, you know, that organize community tournaments, so they have gem rewards. You know.
Yeah.
I want to be game good for everybody. You see.
I know what you want, and that's what I want as well. I want every game mode to like get its updates, to get its things eventually. I mean, with time.
Sorry for interrupting you, but I'm only really fighting for arena players because I know how left behind they were. You know, it's not like I only play arena. You see, I like all game modes. You know, but you know, I support them a lot because I know we have been left behind. EU players, you know. People don't also realize that EU is actually the biggest region, and there has been a serious lack of EU players or any EU tournaments and such, you know.
And we are still winning the worlds. Lately, the team that has won. The last team who has won the World Cup. If you see the roster, they have been all Europe players, all of them.
Yeah.
Nika was. Well, Nika, no, sorry.
I mean, there are also very good America players, you know, and international players. There are so many good players.
Yeah, but if you see, that's how it is. Like most of the players we see.
I mean, since the EU is the biggest region, you can also assume there is the most competition, but that's not necessarily true. But you know,
they have to like work on that, and if they work on those things we said, make them players be more casual players. You know what I mean? They don't. These new players, if you ask them, what do they want to do on the game? They just want to have fun. They don't care about improving or learning much the game. They
I
want
don't
to have
know.
fun. So I think I
It
mean
depends.
that's my opinion. That's what I have. That's what I have been asking the people I have seen on Ranked, and I asked them, "What do you think about the game?" No, I just play for passing time, and I understand. It's a hobby. I understand, but it's true that maybe years ago, especially my generation of season 3 and the ones before,
You take game,
you as the
game
player.
very seriously, right? You take game very seriously.
Absolutely, have
You
been
want to
since
improve. You want to improve.
yeah.
You want to show
Yeah.
everybody. You see, I invested my time into the game. You know, I love this game. You know, can I have a chance to prove myself? I mean, I think this is what everybody. But I think mostly new players are those who really think like, you know, I just wanna have fun. But in my opinion, I think like. It is at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what game mode you play. You either wanna win or you don't. You wanna improve or you don't. You know, so it's.
I think
You know.
there has to be a balance. There has to be some competitive players and some casual players. There has to be a balance. But I think on the last years, I think competitive players are way less, maybe a 5% than the casual players, in my opinion. And that's for what I have seen.
But here is.
If you go to ranked conquest, even some people just say that they don't take
But here is the
game
problem.
serious.
Here in SMITE, they make you think like that arena players are casual and conquest players are better. But I have
When
seen
they aren't.
I have
Yeah.
seen a lot of good players in arena players. On EU, the biggest region, I have seen plenty of good players, and I also have seen good and bad players in conquest. It's like, I mean, you either wanna be good or you wanna win or you don't, in my opinion. But if you do, if you divide the community in such a way that you make everybody think that arena is for players who are bad and conquest is for players who are good, I mean that's not necessarily true. You know, even maybe generally speaking it is, but you know, I wouldn't say it is.
I think, as you said, there has been competitive people, and even more back on years ago, there were people. I was part of a tryhard clan on Arena back on my days. We used to play games on Arena on
Do you know
console.
Snipe? Do you know Snipe?
I don't know.
I think that was Snipe was EU Pro Arena team, and they also played Conquest back in that, so like 7 years ago. But Snipe Gaming or something like that they were called. One time I played on arena tournament was against Snipe. We sadly lost, but it was very good game. I still remember that. This is back when we had ranked arena. You know, I got diamond in arena. It was fun, even though I only got platinum avatar because you only get avatar for the last season. Something. I think this is still in the conquest or maybe not, but. You only got ranked for the previous season, something like that. So even though I reached diamond in arena, I only got platinum diamond. But I'm still very proud of that.
Yeah, it's because you get it you get the rank you get the last season.
Yeah, it's something like that.
I remember it was like that. Yeah. Now these days is more if you get it at one point of the season, you will get the rank, you get the border of the rank. You just have to hit it. Maybe even if you hit it on the middle of the season, you get it.
I see.
You get
That's
mastery.
good. Yeah, that's good.
What I was going to say? Yeah, about the I mean, I think there has to be people that there is not necessarily. I don't know why people say that of arena players not being competitive and being more casual. I have been on a tryhard clan of casual
because
of arena.
Harris designed their way such way.
Yeah, but we used to, but it was not all the case because I have been part of a clan that lately used to play arena and we used to win games by 400 points of difference. We used to take the game serious. We used to play like very well, in my opinion, for back on the days. These guys all had diamond level on Conquest if you put them back on his days, and we used to play kind of decent. We didn't lose at all. We didn't lose at all games like.
Yeah, there's so many good players.
I know people from arena that then have swapped to Conquest and they have good grandmaster. But because they take the game serious and they have been taking the game serious and they have improved.
Even though Arena and Conquest are kinda designed separately, you know. Conquest is more about fighting for resources, meanwhile Arena is fighting with the same resources, right? In my opinion, if you wanna be a good Smite player, you should be good in both, because they are very opposite in terms of design. But I think, in my opinion, most people don't really understand how Arena works. You know, they say you only get 2 kills, then you can play passively, and that's how you win the game. But people that have more experience know that you also need to get value from aggressive playstyle. You have to reset fights constantly, and there is actually more counter building in typical Arena game than it is in Conquest, because, you know, in Conquest you have to get camps, and you have to get flat pin item early so you can get camps, but you can in Arena you can actually start the counter building earlier. And I'm actually thinking about making a Smite item tier list now. We actually got some new items. Do you know we actually got old Voidstone back that reduce all enemy magical protection. And this is actually really good in Arena, because we have this meta in Arena when you usually have 3 magical gods. You know, you have Guardian and 2 mages, for example. In Conquest you usually have meta where you have 3 physical gods. Maybe if you noticed or didn't, but a lot of Conquest teams have 3 or 4 physicals. I'm not sure if the meta changed a bit, but, you know. So we have different counter building. You see, you buy Virginity Shogun more often in Conquest. In Arena you buy, you know, magical protection earlier, you know, because if they have 3 magicals, for example.
They have added back as well the Void Seal. I think that is the physical thing.
I can also tell you about for example, some of the secret strat of Arena that most people don't know. You see, in Arena each wave is 7 tickets, right? But when your score reaches 10 tickets, then each wave only costs 1 ticket. So, for example, if you have 10 tickets and your enemy team has 50 tickets, you can still lose the game, because you're losing 1 ticket per wave and they're still losing 7 tickets per wave. And this is actually just another comeback mechanic, and a lot of people don't understand these comeback mechanics, and then they just think, yeah, you can just get 2 kills and play passively and win games, but that's not necessarily true, you know.
If you play passive like that, people say, and then you get to like 10 points, then you are most likely to lose, because if they get to 10 points as well, then they only have to 2 kills and then you lose the game. It's more like doing a snowball, but fighting. Kills are Conquest and Arena are 2 different things. On Conquest, kills aren't that much important. You have to do the kills when it's needed, when you are fighting around objectives or when you want to do something. That's where that's where you fight. Absolutely. On Arena, fighting is very important. Fighting is way more important, because killing an enemy god, it gives you 5 tickets, and you can start snowballing with killing and with as well pushing the minions, but especially with killing.
Yeah, tickets.
Because it's very.
Minions are actually very important in Arena too. You know, you have to last hit minions, and you can also deny enemy minions, and also you can actually stand beside the tower to actually push it through enemy minions and gods. Most people don't know that, but this is how you properly push a siege tower.
Conquest is way different. Conquest is like, there is a gold fury. Okay, can we secure it and burn it? Yes. Then they don't fight at all. Then they just probably do the gold quickly and then they leave. We can secure it, then we fight. We search a fight, we search a pick, then we do the gold. It works like that. On Conquest they don't really fight that much. It's like more team fighting around the gold, sometimes around the fire giant, and sometimes around mid. But they don't fight that much on Conquest. On competitive Steam, I mean. Obviously on casual and ranked they fight way more, but...
What roles you prefer to play in Conquest?
I like every role except super, but I like every role. But I prefer mid. I
played a lot of support. Yeah, mid is actually quite hard, because, you know, people are constantly ganking you. I think warding plays a huge role in middle. What do you think?
Who, sorry? Which player? Sorry?
No, I said warding, placing wards is actually very important for middle lane. so you have
Absolutely.
vision. So you have vision, you know. So and then you can also play. If you have vision on the left side, you can play more on the left side, and you have more control over your character when you get ganked and such.
Absolutely, I'm totally agree. And also, some people on mid, they don't give that much importance. Some people play on mid, and then they do a wave, and then they just rotate to duo. No, you don't have to rotate that much as a mid laner. You
So-
have to have the mid camps, do the red, you know, if you have the controls of the mid camps, of both mid camps, you get ahead of the enemy mid laner by 1 or 2 levels if you do it well. If you do your pathing well. Some people don't understand how much important it's farming with mid. If you say competitive Steam, Sento, for example, plays a lot to farm. I'm not saying Sento is the best mid laner, absolutely not. There is Paul as well who played very well, and Big Man Teens. But I think Sento does the thing very well. It's like I just farm, I rotate when I have to rotate.
He's very consistent. He's very consistent player, right?
He's very consistent.
I'm just wondering something. I have seen some mid laners who go, you know, Book of Tooth, and then they lose mid. So how do you build mage mid currently? Do you go stacking item, which is very slow and you can fall behind, or do you go like flat pin item rush? How do you build midler, for example?
I'm going to give you my point of view of that. The problem that I have had with the flat pen is that how much it falls on late game, the damage you do.
Yeah, but
because
it's good in early.
Yeah, absolutely, it's good on early. Maybe with some comps, maybe it can work. I have seen, for example, people doing desolation first, and then they do the stack.
Point actually. You made a good point. It also depends on the current state of snowballing. If the snowballing is slow, you just go. I mean, if the game is slow, you go stacking item, and then you have more value in late game, right? But if the game is fast, if you play against Thanatos, for example, enemy jungler, you know he's gonna try hard early, so you have to go flat pin item so you can actually keep up in early. That's my opinion, you know. So you can actually get to mid game and late game. It's a good discussion because sometimes one thing is better, and you know, it also depends on balance and such. Yeah.
I think the problem that happens nowadays is that some people don't know what they have to do on the game. Like they know the pathing and everything, but they don't know where they have to. For example, the junglers, unless for what I think, some people don't get to like know what comp they have, know which lanes it's normally going to win the pressure, because some lanes on the highest competitive Steam, normally with picks and bans, you know which, for example, if the duo lane is going to win the pressure, or if the mid lane is going to win the pressure, or if your solo lane is going to play more back, so you just have kinda to like go there to secure the blues, and that's it. It's kinda works like that, and that's what I have seen from some people, for example, in the jungle, that they don't know where they have to gank, or they don't know where they have to aim their ganks or their pathing. Sometimes on the jungle, you just have to like play for the CL buffs and put your ADC ahead, or go for the mid camps to put your mid laner ahead, or even go to the solo and invading blues and then do the cooldown buff. I think that's
you kind of have to know the meta, right? Have to have some experience in this.
I mean, I know the basics. I think I just know the basics. I know I do my mistakes as well, but I think that's kind of, you have to, when you do a team comp, when you start on competitive SMITE, you have to know how to draft properly and what are you going to play for. If you don't know what are you going to play for, then you have a problem, because then you are going to be lost on the game, and then you may do some mistakes that the enemy takes ahead. I mean, if you do a team comp with I don't know, maybe Thanatos and Tyr on the solo, for example, I'm going to tell you, and the enemy mid laner has a Scylla, the normally thing that you are going to do as the Thanatos is putting the Ra ahead, because Scylla has a very bad early, and you can just do mid camps, so the Scylla doesn't take the mid camps, and you have to do that snowball, so
You have to get
you
as
can
as much objectives as you can, right?
Yeah, kinda, and do a snowball
But,
and then forcing objectives. And
Let's
all that.
also discuss one more thing, and this is communication. Do we have voice chat currently in Ranked Conquest? Can you use in-game voice chat?
We do have it, but people don't use it.
They
It's
use voice comments mostly, right?
Yes.
If they even do. Yeah, but this is I think
Yeah.
one of the biggest thing I think you see, because a normal ranked game won't have as nearly as good communication as they have at SPL, and this is I think the big reason also why, you know, there are a lot of good players in, you know, typical ranked games, you know, but they don't have the communication they have on SPL games, for example. I think this is also why support can be one of the best roles ever, one of the most important roles. If you have a support that do good calls, good shot caller, and if you have good auras like Shogun, maybe even Warflag, then you can win games from that alone. I think support can maybe be the most important role if you do good calls, if you know when to go for objectives, when to rotate and such. But the meta now constantly change, is very hard to know, you know. Maybe I need to play some supporting Conquest again.
If you pay attention on competitive, normally the shot callers, all of them normally are the supports. Normally, if you pay attention, I mean, for example, the last team who has won the walls, Vaporis Coast and, you know, and these guys, and Polar Bear Mike was the shot caller. On Leviathan's back on its day, the shot caller was Wrong. On Camelot Kings, the shot caller was Genetics. If you see, they are all supports. They are normally.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah.
But because supports normally tend to be looking more at the map of to what to do, what is good to do, and that's a thing. That's a thing that maybe the other roles. Normally, the younger players, let's be honest, they want to get the kills. They want to like do the mechanical plays, because at the end, the jungle is probably
They're
most
full of energy. Let them do it.
yeah, exactly. It's more
But
like it's the role where
some young players are actually really good. Like, you know, and I sometimes, you know, I'm like, I played Smite for 10 years, and when I compare myself mechanically to some of the new players, I fall behind, but I'm still ahead when it comes to, you know, build and game knowledge, you know. So maybe, yeah, this is where I can still keep up, I guess. But some players are really good mechanically. Yeah, you can't really underestimate nobody.
yeah, I mean, but that's how it is. Like every role has a way more to be, and that's it. And I think everyone who plays, like, everyone should play unless or try every role one time on like playing.
No.
I have learned a lot from playing every role. Like when I was playing jungle, it's true that I improved my mechanics a lot more on some picks. When I played solo, I learned to like do more with the lane phase and when to rotate.
Yeah.
Mid lane, I used to like improve a lot my positioning and everything on team fights, and same with the ADC. On ADC you touch lane phase, and you touch as well positioning, which is very good, and some mechanics as well. But ADCs are more, let's say, a bit more easier than the other roles, because a bit more.
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something funny? You see, when in Conquest, you know, people usually play like one god on multiple roles, you know. But in Arena, actually, you know, I'm more of a, you know, I like to try new things. I can play like one god in. No, I think I said it wrong, but in Arena, for example, I can play Anchor in ADC or in tank role, warrior role, you know, which you cannot really do in Conquest, you know, but all I do is adopt my build. You see, I go Warding Sigil starter, which makes you extremely tanky. You can go Contagion, you can go Shogun, all these items are really good, even though they nerf Shogun now. I need to make tier list. But I really like this, you know, you see, I like playing one god in multiple roles, you know. I think this is really fun, you know. I play Tank Anchor, you know, not many people play Tank Anchor, but he can work, you know, if you do things right and you get value out of his abilities and build.
If you see potential on some god on any role, I think you can try to play, and that's how, for example, I remember back on his days, and I think it was on season 5 or season 6, there was a meta of invading, and that's where the circuit support got super famous. I remember.
Yeah, she's really annoying.
I remember that always you had a circuit invading your speed. I remember back on this day. I think I don't know if it was season 5 or 6, but I remember there was always people with circuit or Nisa invading your speed, and that's how it worked. I mean,
Yeah.
but I think if you see potential on some god on any role, try it.
Yeah, for example,
I know.
For example, Anhur, you see, if you check Anhur, he has armor shred in his passive when he hit basic attacks, he has slow on his 1, he has good base damage on his 2, you see on his clear, so he has good clear in early game, you have a good escape knockout, and you have CC immunity ulti which you can use. You see, I go in, I jump in, and then I use my ulti for CC immunity. It's very good combo, you know, and you can, but you need to go warding sigil starter. So what do you think the current meta is for solo lane? You see, most people go maybe X and then they go Contagion, Glad Shield, maybe something like that, or they go Berserker and Shogun. But I was actually trying out interesting meta. You know, you go Warding Sigil for early tankiness, and then you go Jotun's Wrath for flat pin, and then you go Contagion, Shogun. So this is actually really good. I was trying this on Guanyu in solo, for example, and you have early tankiness because of the Warding Sigil, and then you have also good damage and pressure because of Jotuns, and then you just go Contagion or Shogun or whatever you want, you know. It's actually quite interesting for solo. Yeah.
I think some people, like, normally they have to look more than what the pro players do. Some people just look what has the pro player built and they just copy paste it. I think you have to, like, when a pro player does a build, you have to, like, look the build, understand why he's building that, and then either you buy the same or either you do another builds. I have done a lot of builds on mid lane, not only the ones that the pro players do. I have always done my own experiments. I think also as kinda with the solo meta and this, I think there was like the Jotun's meta of lifesteal right now, like the last season.
Yeah, I see.
I think that's good. I think that's good, but I think also some builds have gotten, like, for example, some people don't really remember, for example, in my opinion, how mitigations are so OP in this game. The sigil, there is a sigil upgrade that gives you mitigations. The Oni has got a wolf, and it gives you the mitigations as well.
Yeah.
Some people forget how much OP are mitigations on this game.
People,
like,
you know, Shogun was also very good aura, especially in Conquest, that allow you to clear objectives 2 times faster. And people don't know that Shogun actually helps also your gods that animation cancel, not just AD carries, because if you have Shogun, you can animation cancel faster actually, which most people don't know. But yeah, now, this maybe now they nerf Shogun. I think maybe now we won't buy Shogun, we just buy items with mitigation on it, you know. We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, but that's a thing that people have to, like, start to like get to know more why some builds are done like that and everything, and they should try to, like, have their own builds as well, because some people just copy paste what the pro players do, and sometimes the pro players can be wrong. The pro players make mistakes.
They have
Maybe not in
they have better calls.
Yeah,
They
or
have
they
better
can do.
calls.
Yeah, or they can maybe, even in competitive, they do some mistakes as well, like on calls and everything.
Of course,
You have to know that you have to know that, yeah, they are very good. They are a small percentage of elite players, but they make mistakes as well, and you have to learn from both, from what they do good and from what the mistakes they do. I think that's my opinion.
I mean, you know, the thing is also when it comes to pro players, you know, do we really have pro players in SMITE community, right? The thing is, if you're a pro player, I mean, I don't really have problem with pro players, but you have to earn your spot via tournaments or rankings, right? So, but when you know a lot of these guys didn't really earn it, you know, that's also a big issue. So that's also the reason why people don't watch sports so much. If you don't have real rankings, if you don't have real community tournaments, and if you can't pick your players, man, then the whole thing about pro players really falls off, because, you know, I would love to see, you know, pro players, and I think they should get paid. They should get views on YouTube, right? They deserve it. You know, they invested a lot, but you also have to earn it. If you don't have proper scene, and if you handpick your players, then whole this thing really falls off, kinda. You know? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I do understand. The problem with the competitive scene, with the pro players, is that they do the teams. The players do the teams.
And it's a business.
And sometimes, yeah, exactly. And sometimes instead of picking the better player, they normally will pick someone who's a bit worse or worse, but it's their friend and they know him. That's the
Yeah.
problem with the competitive scene. I think
I mean-
Hi-Res shouldn't regulate the competitive scene at all. In my opinion, they have been regulating it a lot. I think this will get back franchises, like back on its day. Every competitive scene has franchises. They will have a good game. They have to like just work on that, and they have to invest some money
Yeah.
on marketing and on promotion, and then on making the game look good and look attractive for the player, and make them stay.
I also feel like there is so much untapped potential here still, you know. We already have such a good game in our hand, you know. It's just that a lot of community is missing currently. That's really the biggest problem SMITE has, you know.
The problem is that a lot of people that I know since 7 years that had a more similar mindset to me, they don't play anymore because of the decisions of Hi-Res.
Yeah, we just
And that's a problem. When people like that stop playing, there is a problem. When people that have been playing for 6 years or 5 years eventually stop playing,
why would you if you don't have basic game functionality or actual tournaments, right? I mean,
yeah.
that's
Yeah, why
what
would
it
you
comes
play
down
if you
to.
don't? Why would you play if you don't have any motivation to, like, you know what I mean, to like keep
Yeah.
playing? That's how it works.
Sorry, I forget. You say no. Your name was Dimitri, no? No. What?
Sergi.
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 This is a Russian. Where are you from?
I'm from Spain.
Oh, I didn't know the Sergi. Sergi is a Spain name.
It's more like the Catalonia region name, but I don't live there. I live
Sergi,
on
right.
another place,
You know,
but it comes from